Hi, I'm Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. Tonight I have a very special show. I have Felicia Archer with the Department of Tourism, and I'm a big fan of your area. What people want to know, or what I want to know, is your museums are now part of the Department of Tourism.
Right.
And I love museums, and so I've always been a big fan of the Department of Tourism. So Felicia's now to be our museum rep, and we're going to have tons of things to talk about because Nevada has a lot of museums.
We sure do.
And one thing I like about it is when I go into places and people see a show, like the Berlin Ichthyosaurus, and they say, I stayed there once, or someone else said, I went there because of the show, and it was great. And because what I need for feedback is when I send people to these places to kind of have more so they see what they expect. So pictures and anything you can dig up to help get more of these museums seen is worthy. And there's been some other cultural affairs shows on public TV, but at this point we want to update them because Glenn Clancy, did you know her? I don't know when her last show was, but we try to air those here on channel 216 and channel 19 as much as we can. And hopefully I'm picking up the baton and helping out.
Well, we're really glad to be here and be able to talk to people about the great things that the Nevada museums. You mentioned tourism. Recently, within the last year, everything in cultural affairs moved under tourism.
That's fantastic.
And when I say everything, I mean Nevada museums and history, the Arts Council, and the Nevada Indian Commission. And that also includes the railroad museums.
Oh, right.
So there's great things. We think that working with tourism, our main mission is to attract people, welcome them, invite them to come to Nevada, and with all these great resources, it's a wonderful way to get people to come see Nevada and see these great things that you didn't know existed here.
Well,
maybe.
Our show just got an award in Access Sacramento, and they have like 350,000 viewers. So we know we're being seen. It's on a good time. It's like 11 o'clock on Saturday, and we're getting some good responses. And we're also in Oakland, so hopefully we're bringing some people to Nevada. And because I had my show here, I thought, well, I'm not really helping. There are people already here.
Sure.
I'm kind of reminding them of certain dates. But now that I'm there, I can hopefully bring more bodies in.
Well, we have great things to see. If you're from Nevada, there are many things I'm sure that you haven't seen. Of course, tourism has been offering the Discover Your Nevada campaign for just that reason, to say we have some really great things right here in your own backyard that you may not have seen. And then if you're not from this area, we'd love to have you come see as well. Understand that we have lots of rich history.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just more than happy to share that at any of these museums. At the Arts Council, we have wonderful artists, and we display them in Carson City. We display them across the state. We have 7 museums across the state, and the Arts Council has an exhibition gallery at their offices as well. So there's plenty to see, no matter where you are.
I know a lot of artists, so that we'll be giving them some plugs of where they can join the Art Council, too.
Sure. Now, you mentioned something about having museums. You mentioned the Berlin Ichthyosaur. That is not one of the museums that belongs to our system, but
Really?
but is a state park.
Okay.
So it's still part of the tourist experience. And if you go to our new museum in Las Vegas, brand new, opened in October on Nevada Day.
Yep.
They have a replica of what is in Berlin. So if you can't make it out there and you happen to be in Vegas, and I have to believe some of your audience is going to be in Vegas this summer, you can also see it at our brand new museum there.
Well, is that the one that has the nuclear things as well?
It does. It has some atomic exhibits. It has a mammoth. It has showgirl costumes. It has wonderful. Many things.
That's a wild museum.
Including casino memorabilia and things from Howard Hughes' home. So it runs from ancient history to now, and I saw a headline, they called it From Dinos to Dino. That was not mine.
When I heard the press on it, I thought they were just talking nuclear. So this is a wilder museum than I could even imagine.
Yes, it's really very, very wonderful. And it's on the grounds of the Springs Preserve, which is another great attraction in southern Nevada. So if you go there, you can experience both properties.
Well, the curator was doing an interview, and he was doing a pretty good job. He was having fun already. That's the main thing for the curator.
Yeah.
Kind of like when we did the shoot over with the Railroad Museum in Carson City with Frank Ackerman.
Sure.
He just loves his trains.
Our people are very, very interested in the things that they do. I don't know if you know it, but when you do come to Nevada, check the hours of the museums that you're interested in, because each museum is open different hours. Because of budget cuts, we have 4-day schedules, and not each museum does not have the same hours. So if you want to come and see the railroad, make sure you check the railroad museum's days and hours. And if you want to go to the Mint Museum, for instance, so that's my suggestion. They're open different days and hours. But our people are just committed, no matter what day it is. We try to make everything happen.
You have great people. And did you guys decide on the slogan for this year? Because I think last time I heard on Channel 2 News, there was 3 different slogans, and you hadn't decided on the official one yet?
No, I don't speak for that part of the house, but but I'm following it the same way you are. And no, they aren't to that point. Nevada is in the process of looking at a new brand. Everybody knows what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yes, that's a good one.
That's an example of a brand. Our new director, whose name is Claudia Vecchio, is looking at branding the state, and not just one element of the state, but all of the state. And they're looking at how to communicate what we all have to offer and market that to the public.
This is a pretty variety the state has a lot of variety.
Sure.
That'd be a hard one to do.
Sure. So it's not something that comes out just that simple. So there are people involved, and they're thinking and talking, and eventually they will give us something that we can all use.
Well, the first time I visited Nevada, I knew I was going to live here. I 100% knew it. I was in Vegas for basically a convention, but I started wandering around the area, and I saw a ram running alongside the highway, and I just saw all kinds of like cacti. And
sure.
Things. I even took a cacti back to Michigan. I hope that.
Did you?
It's probably illegal, but I didn't. I planted it, and unfortunately, the local dog didn't know that it was a cacti.
Oh.
And I feel upset about that still. But anyways, the lake was so beautiful, and the nature, and everywhere you looked like paintings. It really does. My brain still thinks I'm looking at a painting every time I look at the mountains and the clouds.
I'm sorry.
No, but it's that beautiful.
We have visitors from all over the world. We often get journalists from all over the world that come and contact us at tourism to get ideas on what to cover. They're very fascinated about Western life. We have lots to offer, and people are very curious. Some because they have history. Maybe they traveled when they were kids. Some because they've never been and they want to know about it. So there's plenty to see and do, and we want to help people get here and do it.
Well, there's so many factors. I would personally, I don't know if you're allowed to campaign for a certain type of cultural thing, but I would develop a wild horse museum in a second, or something to tourists that go see wild horses somehow to get some money to save them, because I think that's one of the best things I ever saw was wild horses.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
Yeah, just an idea, but I'm sure someone's doing it right now. I just haven't seen them.
You made a really good point a minute ago about you wanted to live here as soon as you came, and the head of the Arts Council's name is Susan Boskoff, and what Susan always says is that people want to visit where people love to live. And that really suits Nevada. People love to live here, and when you're traveling, you want to go see that. And I'm sure that you've experienced that. You go to some place that gives a village concept or something like that. You and I were talking about, I just came back from vacation.
I know.
Yeah. So we enjoyed seeing how other people live and what the culture is like, and what kind of fun they have. And it was great to be a consumer of tourism while I was on vacation, and to then look here and say, how does that apply here? And I have been to just about every corner of the state of Nevada.
Wow.
I've missed a few, but I'm going to get there. I worked for many years for another state agency, and it was my business to go and visit these other places. And it's just been wonderful to go out and see Berlin and see the Ichthyosaur,
You
for
have a
instance.
perfect job.
Been to Gabb's, been to Curry, been to Denio, been to Jackpot, all those places that are on the borders have these wonderful things to offer. But there are still many that I haven't been to.
Well, I'll tell you what, you work at the right place, too.
Sure.
Tuesday, Justin and I were at your location doing taping a musician, and your building is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, we love it.
We actually included it in the show. So Christopher K. Show has the Department of Tourism building in it, and it used to be a courthouse, and I love our architecture, too. Mm-hmm. And then you get the plaza. It's absolutely beautiful for a shoot.
It really is.
And the Nugget, it just had all this energy, and it's always. And I hadn't been downtown Carson City in a while.
For other people who don't know what building it is, you might know it's the building that plays the chimes.
Yes, and every song is different every day. Because we were trying to guess the name of the song and we got stumped, so we had to get rid of that footage. I thought it was the old Millwell, but he didn't play the piano, so
I think they told me somebody comes in and changes those.
Yeah, every day. So that's very special. I hope you have not too cramped quarters.
No, we love it.
I also hope people can see us out the window taping.
I don't know.
Because we've had a number of people from your building in on the show. So,
Sure.
But next time we're going to go on this Tuesday. We'll walk in and maybe we can take. Some
Okay,
of your
we'll do
premises.
that.
Yeah. Well, the fun part is getting to know the museums, because like the Carson Valley Museum here is absolutely beautiful, and it has a lot of wild horses and Native American items, and it really promotes the area pretty good.
Sure.
And so do all the counties have like a county museum like that too, or?
There are many, many museums in the state.
Yeah.
You know, I mentioned that we have 7, but there are just so many. I couldn't even give you a number. There are famous ones and there are infamous ones. There are small ones and there are big ones. And just about any place you go, you can find something that will tell you about the history of Nevada and the culture. The big one, of course, is in Carson City, right down the street from the building we were just talking about. And we have many things to offer there. We can talk about that a little bit more.
Well, we're going to take a break pretty soon, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the upcoming events that you got to go to. We had a short shoot at with Frank Ankerman at the Railroad Museum, and it was absolutely perfect, and he wants to talk about 4th of July. Well, we'll be right back. We're going to go break, and we'll come back with Felicia to talk about tourism. Thank you.
Tonopah, Nevada. You might already know that we're the best place to explore Nevada's rich mining history. And we're the perfect spot for off-roading and hiking. And of course, we got the best skies in the U.S. for stargazing. But our real treasure is our people. And we got a message for you.
There's a dot on the map between Reno and Vegas.
It's one of the most different of places.
Stop by and see us next time you're passing through.
Visit our historic mining park.
But be on the lookout after dark.
Because a 16-year-old ghost saw me in the nude.
Mine your own turquoise and we'll make you a ring.
I got dog food, hair gel, and free counseling.
A cloud made me feel good when it did that. It dissipated.
Things here move at a different speed.
See the Clown Motel and Cemetery.
I made Garth from Antlers. What you think about that?
We'll be waiting for you in Tonopah.
Hi, we're back with Felicia Archer with the Department of Tourism, and we're talking about museums, and there's some really good ones. Do you have any particular areas you like to do, or how does your job work? How do you promote museums? Are you allowed to go in the field, or do you have to stay put? Or?
Oh, sure. I get to go visit a lot of things. One of the great things about the museums and the Arts Council as well is that we have a lot of changing exhibits. We have permanent exhibits on display at the railroad museums, at the 2 state museums, and the rural museums as well. We have great things to see at all times. But then, in each one of those, there's a changing exhibit, and you get to see something different, something that you may or may not seen before, and you may have lots of interest. An example is at the Carson City Museum right now. It's called the Nevada State Museum, Carson City. They have something called Gifts of Healing, and it's focused on the Merci train, which was in the 40s, after the war, the U.S. sent lots of supplies and support to France in boxcars. And then, in gratitude, France sent 1 boxcar full for each of the states, and then one of them was shared. So all of this material that were gifts from the people of France, children sent their toys.
Oh, wow.
The very well-to-do sent some very valuable things, and people who had been in the service sent memorabilia of their service.
Be like a time capsule.
It really is. It's absolutely a wonderful collection that they have. And among the things that were sent were 21 posters that depict each region or many of the regions of France. And those posters are now recently framed and exhibited. They've been here for years, but they didn't have the ability to put them out. And we did get a grant from some foundations that allowed the collection to be displayed in a different way than it's ever been. And now all of those posters are on display at the museum in Carson City.
Well, that is awesome.
There's a period in August that they'll come down because there's a coin show that is there. Also, you know, our Carson City Museum is the former U.S. Mint.
Yes.
So we do a lot with that.
That brings a lot of tourists here.
Sure. At the end of each month, the last Friday of the month, they actually use the mint press and they mint coins there. Sometimes we'll have the local coin clubs will come and offer coin exchanges of certain things that are special event kind of event.
Well, you have to call us. We'll bring our little film crew.
Yeah. So I kind of got off on a tangent there, but
Well, that's okay.
but I wanted to talk about the mint anyway, so that's great.
Yeah.
So the mint, it used to be the U.S. Mint, and there's so much history there, and we have wonderful permanent exhibits about that.
Again, the building is a beautiful building, architecture-wise. So there's that alone to me is just worth driving by. It's great.
It really is.
I like to go in
and
there.
then you have the things from what it was called the Merci train, and then down the road at the Railroad Museum in Carson City, they actually have the box car, and it's just fabulous to look at. Just wonderful. You can see lots of great types of trains there, but at the main museum, you'll also see slot machines. I lost it for a second. Slot machines. In addition to coins, you'll see coins being put in slot machines.
You have a slot machine museum?
We do.
I did not know that.
We, in fact, have what's called the Fay collection, and it's a collection of early examples of slot machines of just all kinds you just can't even imagine.
I'd like to bring the camera because I've been trying to find. There was an author that Stanley Pear talked about who did the history of slot machines and went back and did all this stuff. But to see them actually at the museum would be great.
They're really cool.
Because they were funny compared to in the old days. They had like lemons and things. And
Sure. Oh, and other types of games. They played all kinds of, and one I think has some sort of candy or gum was what was paid out.
Yeah.
So not dust coins. So there's all those great things to do. And then, like I said, if you come down to the Railroad Museum, you can see something entirely different. At the Railroad Museum for 4th of July, there's a 5-day celebration. We have all kinds of different equipment, and as you can imagine, they have to move it around here and there. So each day, there's going to be something different featured at the 5-day celebration. And we have the Inyo locomotive, which is absolutely beautiful and
It is.
great for photography buffs. There's the McKean car, which is a car that was operated on the VNT line, and then became a diner in Carson City and has been restored and is really a national treasure. So there are all kinds of things to do at that museum as well. So
well, last year I was actually there for a Civil War exhibition out.
That's
and
right.
It was hot, and I lost my relatives. I dropped them back off at the Carson Station, and we had to make it an early day because it was just a little bit too warm for some of the older people. But we should have went inside to the Railroad Museum because it was nice and cool.
It is, and we have a. You were there recently,
yes.
But for somebody who hasn't been there in a while, there are all new interpretive exhibits inside that are very important in explaining how the railroad helped to develop Nevada's economy.
Well, big time, because we're out here middle of nowhere.
Sure.
And we're far from everybody.
Right.
And the railroad is, and you got to go there and look at these locomotives. If you're a kid at all at heart, this is just, I was there we did a short piece with Frank Ackerman, and just to be in that place with these beautiful machines, it was just awesome. And Frank is like a big kid. He's just, we're going to take the Inyo outside, and for the 4th, and you got to see it. I guess we're going to try to make it, run, but it can't really pull people. But
yes, it does operate.
You'll be operating for that short period, and then she goes back inside and kind of back in mothballs. But this is an anniversary for the train, and like I said, ask Frank about any information and some of the docents. You'll learn a lot because the people are friendly there too.
We have great volunteers. We depend on the volunteers and couldn't keep the doors open without them. And one thing that makes me think of is that you and I have talked before about the Hand on the Throttle program.
Yes.
Where if you want to give a great treat to somebody in your family, somebody that, one of those people that has everything and you can't think what to get them as a gift, they can actually come and operate the train, hand on the throttle. You pay for that, and that's a donation to the museum.
I like that. How about the horn?
Yeah, you can do that.
I
have been told that things like that happen.
I could do a donation for the horn.
Yeah, sure. But anyway, they have the Hand on the Throttle program, and so a lot of the guys love that. Not that women don't love it too. I mean, I'd love to get out there and do that, but it's a great gift, and it helps to keep the doors of the museums open.
I like it. I'm going to make it happen. And then you said something about the OXS Gallery of the Office of Nevada Arts and Museum?
Yes, the Nevada Arts Council is just down the street from the museum, so if you're in town, you can enjoy that. The Nevada Arts Council is charged with offering grants to artists throughout the state for lots of different projects. They support the arts in many, many ways. Arts learning, for instance, help people to learn about it, and they help them to teach others about it. They support folk life festivals, for instance.
All right.
Lots of great things. But one of the things that they do that is little known is their office actually has exhibition space. And they have a changing exhibit there that changes maybe every couple of months. Great artists are featured there. Most of them are from Nevada. Some of them are not. Some of them there are collaborations with Nevadans. And we have just a variety of great things that get displayed.
Well, we got to go there too, because I try to promote artists in the Tahoe, Carson Valley, and the Carson City region. And sometimes I jump up to Reno, but not as much. And we have some skilled people here, and the goal is to keep them here.
Sure.
It seems like every time I get attached to somebody in art or music, they move away. So I think we should just make sure we buy more local, promote locals, promote education, and make sure that the artists from all over the world come here, because we do have the best artists I've ever seen.
Well, we're getting ready to go into Art Town. Reno is Art Town.
Yes.
I don't know if you've talked about that.
I might be on that stage.
Uh-huh.
If I get my neck fixed, I'm going to be Lucky Duck with the Rappin' Rats on the stage at Art Town.
Yeah.
This channel shows a lot of Art Town work, and it's very big on it because they put things out there that are unusual.
Yes.
And are entertaining or stretch the mind. And we'll be in the entertaining kids, and we're primarily for the kids, but that's half the fun.
Sure.
It's getting those kids to laugh and be kids a little bit longer.
Well, and Nevada Arts Council supports all of that. They are supporters of the Reno Art Town, and that's an example of the kinds of things that they do statewide. We have programs all over the state that encourage all different kind of diversity, ethnic programs, historical programs, supporting Native American programs, for instance, lots of things.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm really excited. I wish your job was, we could have more shows. We'll have to have you back next week.
Including food.
Food, that's
food
right.
is an art.
Food is definitely an art. I have my own little food closet, and Sugar Pine Bakery up in Tahoe and Russell's Mercantile here both donate to my little charity.
Oh, yeah.
But to thank them, I've taken pictures of their food and made a show out of it. And when you take a picture of something that makes you hungry, it is art. So that's why I thank you. If you wonder why those Russell's, Mercantile, or Sugar Pine are on my 3-minute breaks between shows, that's why, because they donate to help other people. It could be in the trash can. Could save them money.
Great.
We're down to 2 minutes. Now, we probably should give out some of your contact information to check out the website.
Sure. There are a couple of places you can go. Tourism's website is travelnevada.org.
Oh, right.
And that is just got a wealth of information on anything you might want to do. Events, shows, places, things to see, questions you might have about traveling. Travelnevada.org, travelnevada.com is the website for tourism. I stumble on org because on the museums and arts side, we are org. That's nevadaculture.org. And if you go to nevadaculture.org, then you can visit the museum sites, you can visit the art site, and you can always track great opportunities, things that are going on for visitors, for instance, or as we were talking about, the grants that the Arts Council offers. You can go there and find out information about that too. Lots of information.
That's big.
On these sites. And you can visit our museums online and learn a lot about Nevada.
Well, it sounds like you had a lot of fun with this job.
Sure.
I love your job because, well, we have to have you on the show a lot more. because I feel like we need to get caught up in a lot of the things you're involved in and let people know these activities. Like July 4th at the Railroad Museum is a big deal. And Frank Ackerman can show you around, and I'm sure his docents will take care of you. But Felicia?
Oh, I forgot one place. Let me tell you, Nevada Historical Society in Reno. Don't miss it. It's great. It's got wonderful things to show.
We'll talk about that next week. Felicia, thank you for being on Nevada
Thank you.
Trails. It's been Michael Smith for Nevada Trails, and support your museums and cultural events. Thank you very much.